Come on!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the world, I am George Massey and you are super cool, super awesome. You're one of the coolest people I've ever seen in my entire life, without question. Today I'm talking about The Boss Baby. People don't seem to like The Boss Baby, or people had this negative anticipation for The Boss Baby. They were like, oh my god, it's a kids film, it's going to suck, it's going to be terrible, I'm going to hate it, I'm going to regret that I ever saw it, I'm going to regret that it ever was in existence. Well, I went to see it because it was on, and it's good. It's a good film. It reminded me actually of when I was a little kid, and I used to go and see kids' movies because I was a little kid, and not all of them were amazing. Not all of them were Baby's Day Out, or Back to the Future, or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Some of them were not as good. They were like Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. I'm remembering the few that I really disliked when I was a kid. Didn't like The Borrowers, didn't like the live-action 101 Dalmatians. There were certain kids' films that I really disliked even when I was a kid. But then there were other ones that were not the best, but they were still good. And The Boss Baby is like that. Now, to its credit, it is very intelligently made. The camera work is wonderful at times. The director was very, very in control of that camera, used it beautifully. I know there's not a real camera in an animated film, by the way. I'm very aware of that. I've even directed a couple of animated shorts. But the fact is you have freedom in an animated CGI movie to put the camera anywhere, and it's really a sad thing when you see a CGI kids film and the camera's in just dull, plain, obvious places. This is very well thought out. Also, it's very inventive. There's a juxtaposition between oftentimes what this boy character, not the Boss Baby but his older brother, what the boy character imagines and what is actually real. And it has almost a Rugrats feel to it, the way the Rugrats will every once in a while be on a journey, an adventure, and it isn't real, it's just playtime, it's just kids using their imaginations. And that happens in this. And there's one shot in particular that's very, very beautiful, very, very creative in The Boss Baby, where the boy is grounded and he's in his bedroom, and the way it is framed is that the boy imagines his room like an ancient jail cell in an old, windy, drafty castle, and he's chained up, and it's like the walls are concrete and the bed is made of wood, and there are no lights and there are bars on the windows, and he's sitting in this very kind of midnight blue atmosphere, cold, right? And he's sitting on his bed, somber, sad, hunched over, looking at the floor, and you see everything in terms of how he feels. And then amidst all that kind of coldness, somber atmosphere, the camera is behind his back as he's sitting on the bed, and then light from an opening door spreads across his back, and you know that somebody behind him is opening the door, and light from the corridor is spilling into the room. And what's really nice is all of the light spilling into the room reveals the room as it actually is. So in that little square of corridor light that's rushing in, you see the actual bedroom, you see the colourful sheets on his bed, you see his actual clothes, you see his alarm clock and his toys, and it's a really wonderful shot, and it does sum up some of the ingenuity and the care that went into making the movie. Now, it's not perfect, like I said, it's not Toy Story, but it is good. Also, to its credit, I was expecting god-awful music, like most of these kids' films have. I was expecting it to have pop music. If you ever saw the Jimmy Neutron movie, I thought it was going to be like that. Jimmy Neutron has a great TV show for kids, well-written, funny, loads of great stories, and a soundtrack that is appropriate. The movie has awful pop music, the sort of stuff that makes you want to walk out in front of moving traffic, the sort of stuff that makes you wish that you'd never been able to hear anything in your entire life. It's that terrible dirge, the sort of stuff that they just try and sell to the kids, like, here, buy this single, buy this terrible music, please, and it's just in there to just destroy what would otherwise be good scenes or potentially a good movie. And I thought, well, The Boss Baby, it's DreamWorks, it's probably going to have somebody trying to plug some kind of god-awful pop music in it, but actually Hans Zimmer is in control of all of the music in this film. He had some help, but he is in control of it. He's the first credit for the music, and we know Hans Zimmer because he does everything from Batman with Christopher Nolan to Days of Thunder with Tony Scott. Hans Zimmer is certainly a staple name who knows how to do music for films. Even though I don't really like Hans Zimmer's music in Batman, especially when you compare it to Danny Elfman's. I find it incredibly mediocre by comparison. But it's a hell of a lot better than the music in a film like Jimmy Neutron. So, that being said, The Boss Baby is ultimately a good, fun, creative film. It's not perfect. It has... it's not as good as Monster House, that movie that was by Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis, the two who made Back to the Future, the underrated CGI kids movie. But I'd say Boss Baby is closer to a film like Monster House, which was very good, than it is to a Pixar epic, like something out of the Toy Story trilogy. But do not listen to all of these people who berate it and put it down because they put one fart joke in the trailer. To my recollection, there's only one kind of fart joke in the whole movie, and believe me, I hate fart jokes in movies. I do not like them. They make me restless. They make me want to leave. But under these circumstances, it's a movie about a baby, and the joke is, it's not really out of place in the way that it is placed in the film. Oh, one other thing, the term, the phrase, or the name, The Boss Baby, is actually much better than I thought it would be. I thought it was just going to be this baby who's a boss, but it's not. It's a bit of a symbolism or a metaphor, maybe, for the idea that when parents have a new baby, the baby becomes the boss of them. It becomes the boss of the household. They start changing their plans and their lives to fit the baby. In that regards, the baby becomes the boss, i.e. the Boss Baby. Overall, it's good. It's a good film. I enjoyed it. It reminded me of when I was a kid, watching kids' films in the cinema. A little bit like Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. Not the best, but good enough, memorable enough. And I imagine that if you're a kid, or you have a kid, they will like it. And if they don't like it, I liked it, so there you go. I'm George, take care of yourselves,